and learn the trick to putting a sweet message in your candy. Stick around.
Right now we're going to move from a candy with a famous name to another that can have any name at all because it's up to you. Let's see how a candy shop is getting their message across in a special treat called a lolly. Take a look.
In Lake Mary, Florida, Sugar Sugar is making over 40 flavors of lollies, a hard candy similar to a lollipop without the stick. But what makes these crystal cut candies so special is the message. Because since their store opened in 2004, they've been customizing candy with up to 14 characters right in the center.
We've always put personalized message within the candy because we feel that if you have something important to say, what a better way to say it than with a lolly.
To make a batch of their personalized lollies, candy makers first melt sugar, water, and corn syrup, bringing them to a boil. When the mixture reaches the perfect temperature, it empties onto a cooling table. Next, flavoring and coloring add in.
Notice how hot it is because it boils off all the water that's within the food coloring.
And boiling off the water is key because water is the enemy of hard candy, causing it to stick together if not removed. Next, zinc oxide is added to a section that will become the candy center, giving the inside a bright white color.
This is actually the most dangerous part of candy making right now because the candy is so hot it will give you the worst burn of your life.
After colors mix together, citric acid is added, bringing out the flavor in the candy. Next, different colored sections are cut apart. The colored sections continue mixing while the white candy gets to meet the hook.
We stretch this candy over the hook to add little air bubbles into the candy, and it does two things for us. It increases the candy in size, changes the texture on the center, but it also turns it to a bright white.
And quality is a must, especially when you're making all your candy in front of your customers.
We wanted to make the candy out in the front of the store because it's so much fun to watch. People love it. People never believe that their piece of candy went from boiling sugar and water to this intricate piece of candy. It's so much fun.
Finally, the shell of the candy is complete and it's time to form the letters.
And of course our candy is going to say unwrapped. So our first letter is going to be U.
White candy molds into the shape of a certain letter before it gets a wrapping with darker candy.
Making the letters is the most difficult thing that we do here. And our most difficult letter is the letter Q. So thankfully Unwrapped doesn't have a Q in it. Okay, here's our D.
Thank you. Letters are then stretched and lined up side by side as they will appear in the finished word. Next, the grouping of letters is covered by the rest of the candy, forming a 30-pound log. But how does this become this?
You have to squeeze it really hard.
Squeezing and stretching the candy log shrinks the letters, producing long rods of thin candy. Finally, after all rods are formed, candy is cut into bite-sized pieces, packaged, and it's ready for sale.
We get young kids that can't believe their eyes. We get older gentlemen that say, I've been around for 70 years and I've never seen anything like this. But one thing is in common, the reaction we get is big smiles from everybody.
But if you want to do this kind of candy making yourself, it's going to take some sweet dedication.
A lollyologist is a person who is a master of lolly making or candy making. To become a lollyologist, you have to learn from a master candy maker. You can't just go to a school for it.
Coming up, it's a blast from the past with a new future. Find out how the Slowpoke went from old to new again when we continue.